What's up, everyone? Welcome to Digital Noir Presents, a podcast loosely based on life in a digital studio. I'm your host today, Nick Bozic.
Hi, Nick.
And with me today, I have Emily Jones.
Oh, hi, Nick. Nice to be here.
Nice to be here, okay.
Yeah.
And I have with me Christopher Mabs, or Pretty Chris as we call him.
Thank you. Hello.
And we have a very special guest today, Chef Frank Hero.
Hi, it's a pleasure.
Thanks for coming today.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. All right, let's kick it off. Maybe tell us just a little bit about you, Frank.
Yeah, so I'm a cookery lecturer at Tafe SA. I was formerly a chef, obviously, but I still do practice my skills, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Been a lecturer for about 3 years now with Tafe SA, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It was a natural progression for me. I love my industry. I love cooking. And I really just wanted the opportunity and the platform to pass on my knowledge and my skills. And what better organisation than Tafe SA to do it with? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Wow.
So does that mean you're a chef for a few years and you intentionally you wanted to go to TAFE, like you wanted to teach other people?
Yeah, something inside me, I suppose. From a young chef, I really always enjoyed passing knowledge onto others and training staff. So it was just a natural progression, I think.
Yeah, cool.
And before you became a what do you call it?
Chef.
Lecturer. Sorry,
Yep.
at TAFE. Did you do work at any restaurants before that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I was a chef for about 15 years, I suppose, from a very young age.
Oh, wow.
I've worked predominantly a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start as a chef or as a kitchen hand when you were 15?
No, I started as a chef. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow, cool.
just a casual cook in my local takeaway venue, and
Like
sort of found the
chicken
passion.
and chips, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, more or less.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
And I really just absolutely fell in love with it. And one of my first head chefs told me that I was, I had the talent, I suppose,
Yeah.
and it was a natural, and so it was a natural step for me.
Excellent.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Super awesome. That's
Okay.
cool.
Do you feel?
Sorry.
Sorry. You go.
Just butting in.
No.
That's what I'm here
So
for.
rude.
What would you say that your current sort of signature style is, or signature dish? What's your sort of standout?
Look, I suppose that's a really tough question for most chefs. I don't think I have a signature dish as such. I like to think I have a broad range of, dishes that I like to create and like to cook.
Yep.
Style, I suppose, would be quite fusion, quite modern.
Okay.
Really, we'd put it under the modern Australian banner more
Sure.
than anything, because we've got such a cultural diversity and as influences drawn from all parts of the globe. So it's hard to put it down to one culture, I suppose, or one style.
Yeah.
So have you had a lot of experience kind of cooking in that field? Like
Modern Australian, Mediterranean background as well, and
cool.
so Greek even for quite some time.
How many restaurants have you worked at in total before you started?
Oh, look, I suppose it'd be a dozen or so.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
So that's quite a few.
Yeah, chefs like to move around a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I had some. Yeah, I think it's one of those industries where it is very passion driven, and once you lose a little bit of flair and you lose the spark, I suppose you want to move on to new things and
Stay
and
constantly inspired, I guess.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, new environment, new ideas sparks a new interest.
Yeah, cool.
Does it get pretty headed in the kitchen? Do you
It
get a lot
does.
of-
Yeah, it's a very high pressure environment.
Physically
I
and
won't lie.
mentally?
It is draining. I mean, you do the long hours, and it is mentally draining. But if you love it, and it's for you, I suppose. It's one of those trades you really have to love to be a part of.
Yeah, sure. Do you even find that in TAFE? Like, does it get pretty heated while you're teaching in there, or is that more like
it's
a
a different
environment?
It is a relaxed learning environment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And obviously, we're there to
Don't want to scare them off
That's
before you
right,
put them
more or
out into
less,
the
yeah.
real world. Yeah.
positively teach.
Yeah.
Is it a good time to be a chef?
Yeah, I think so. Look, it's a skill shortage industry. Look, there are plenty of jobs available. There are so many jobs available, and we really have a shortage of chefs in all across Australia, and they're really trying to promote that and get some new blood or fresh blood in the industry.
Yeah, sure.
So it is a good time to be a chef. And look, I'll admit, the dynamic has changed, and the industry has certainly evolved. It's no longer the way it used to be, and working conditions are certainly much better these days than they used to be. So look, it's a fantastic time to take on hospitality or cookery. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
For sure.
So what are some of the things they're doing to kind of promote that, get the fresh blood in, like you said?
Look, I suppose it's a lot of marketing through state government and
cool. Like a lot of kind of government programs.
That's right. Yeah, incentives. Certainly, lots of employer incentives to take on apprentices and new trainees. Yeah.
So just jumping out because I'm looking at it. The Gastronomic Adventures program that you have, is that sort of targeted towards getting new students in, or is that sort of targeted to...
all sorts. General public.
Yep.
So we have general public. We have chefs that come in that want to upskill. We have apprentice chefs that want to further their knowledge.
Okay.
Look, it attracts a very vast crowd, I suppose.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
it appeals to everyone.
I was going to say, what's the kind of ratio of students you get that's like the difference between like completely new and like upskilling? Because I wasn't aware that like upskilling was a thing that a lot of chefs
Yeah, absolutely.
jump in.
Because it's such an ever evolving industry.
Yeah, definitely.
There's certainly always a need for upskilling and professional development. So we certainly do offer that. I suppose there are more new students than upskillers, if you like, because there's an interest among the general public, not just people who are in the industry, but general public to come in and do these short courses and develop their skills and perhaps open a side business or just do it for the love of it. Yeah, like you said, baking cakes. They'd come in and do the patisserie short courses and produce for their family and friends. Or
that's super cool,
just a bit of fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So do you want to give us a bit of a rundown of what the actual program is then? Like what people can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we offer many different types of short courses, all the way from patisserie and confectionery to smoking, curing, to the produce workshops, which we offer, which are based around a different supplier each month to promote, I suppose, and local suppliers, and to obviously highlight the beautiful ingredients that we have to offer in South Australia, and the amazing suppliers behind it that make it all happen. And that's an always changing theme, but there are so many different courses available. Yeah, it appeals to all.
And are they like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 1 day here?
Absolutely, yeah. So some of them they range from 2 hours up to 2 or 3 days, or even a week course, depending on what you take on.
Sure.
But there's artisan breads and patisserie, so they're week and
cool.
amazing, and the skill at Tafe SA is just phenomenal. Some of the lecturers, or all of the lecturers, I should say,
cool.
have just got some amazing skills. So
So
great trainers.
You would get the chance to sort of meet different lecturers and learn from different people then as you sort of come through and do
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're always networking and we're always working together. We're quite a close team. So, absolutely.
Cool.
It's all about the team effort at the end of the day.
So, I'm reading off here. It says, and also brewing beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we have an amazing beer brewing academy. And the other thing, of course, cheese. Gina, who's an amazing cheese maker. Yeah. She makes some beautiful cheeses, and a lot of her students have gone on to international fame. So
really,
there's some amazing producers for cheese these days in South Australia, local producers. Wow. And most of them have trained through Tafe SA and through Gina. So that's another course that even interested me as a young chef.
Okay.
Do you make your own cheese now?
I do. Yeah, it's rare, but it takes a lot of.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work, and unfortunately, it takes a lot of time and the right conditions, the right environment. But it is good fun. Yeah, every now and then you just feel like having a little
making your own cheese.
Yeah, whether it's a white mold or a soft curd. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
But even in the restaurants, wherever possible, we'd make our own cheese. Yeah, probably not sit on our aged cheddars for 18 months, but soft curds and burrata, mozzarella, that kind of thing.
Sure,
absolutely. So much easier to make your own product. Not necessarily easier, but that it's going to be a good product to work with.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, good dairy. Good local produced dairy.
I had a specific question for you. So do you personally as a chef sort of subscribe to farm to table? Like do you...
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah, and look, most of the world chefs now, the leaders are on the same wave, I suppose, now with the farm to table, or certainly... produce that's sourced within a certain radius of their establishment, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 100 Ks, whatever it may be. Yeah, but
have you been to the Locavore in Stirling?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Oh, you should
good
check
venues.
that one out.
We'll check it out.
They've just changed owners, but they subscribe to within 100 Ks.
Oh, excellent.
So everything they have is sourced from
Yeah, look, and we have some amazing products available for us within a 100K range, no matter where you live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, there's always opportunity, and we should take advantage of it.
Absolutely. That's my tip.
Yeah.
Me to you.
There you
Check
go.
that one out.
Do you think chefs are more specialized now, or are they kind of in touch with all the different fields?
Look, I think there are unlimited resources out there now. Look, let's be honest, you can learn anything you want on YouTube. But we've certainly got some amazing publications. We've got some amazing resources available to us, and I think we've got a broader range of skills and knowledge as chefs and as general public, I suppose. We everything's at our fingertips, and so I suppose as a chef, as someone who's artistic and someone who wants to delve deeper into a topic, we'll do that research, and we'll maybe take on a bit of further training and broaden our horizons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that's good.
What's your thoughts on I'm trying to bring in tech now with the food.
I was going to lead into that, yes.
Okay.
No, you go. Go, Nick. Fire away.
What's your thought on like Uber Eats and Eat Now? How does that affecting the food industry?
Look, I think those avenues for food are always going to be available in some way or other, but I don't think it's necessarily affecting restaurants. I mean, people still want to go out and eat at their local restaurant. It's a social gathering, but they're obviously convenient. And I'm not sure what businesses have to think about it, because I've never been a part of Uber Eats, but I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Have you used it?
Once.
I
had to try it out, and it was and it's amazingly convenient.
What did you get?
Look, I can't even remember. It's one of those nights.
Obviously wasn't standout.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Yeah, in Sydney and Melbourne, I think there's a lot of restaurants now opening up that don't have a storefront, so they only make food just for Uber Eats and Eat Now.
Yeah,
which is quite interesting.
That's probably working for them. I suppose it'd be more profitable that way too, because they don't have to have the retail side and the communication, I suppose, with the customers one-on-one.
I just think that's sad. I think such a big part of
I agree.
food and going
the
out
experience.
is, everything about it. I like to go and sit and
the atmosphere, the experience, the overall dining experience.
I could happily sit for 3 to 4 hours over
I
a
agree.
meal, because it's just how you do it.
Yeah, good company, good food,
get it in
good
a little
wine.
paper bag and wander off. It's just a bit sad because it just doesn't do it justice. I don't think.
The paper bag is delivered to you, though.
Well, I know, but it's
That's
not,
right. You don't even have to leave.
It's just sit at home by yourself and eat out of your brown paper bag. Like go out to the restaurant and
I agree.
see the world. It's my thought.
No, I agree.
Anyway.
I actually have like a weird view on it because I grew up in Thailand.
Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful
place.
Yeah, and like the food there is like, I mean, obviously it's different to here, but the way people eat there is much faster. So food's made quicker. You kind of sit down and you chat a little bit and you talk and then you leave.
Yeah.
But here I feel like people sit and drink for like 2 hours and then eat. And and that was very like jarring for me when I first came here. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Just sitting for 2 hours.
Sitting around.
Get out of here.
It's a cultural thing, isn't it?
I suppose that's true.
Yeah. But I think now like all the cultures are starting to adapt, like here especially.
Yeah. Oh, it's like when you get a coffee in Italy. It's a very quick express thing, isn't it? We sit down and have a chat over coffee for a couple of hours, like you say. And in Italy, you're almost on a lineup. You order, you move down to the next little booth. The coffee's always tempered. You drink it as quick as you can. You have a glass of water, and on you go.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
Yes. Well.
I like to savor those things.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
But on the sort of tech marketing sort of thing, how do you market your workshops at the moment? Like, is it all social? Is it?
Yeah, a lot of it on social media. Yes, a lot of it through word of mouth. I suppose that's still important for us. A lot of people that come to these short courses absolutely love them, and we have lots of return customers. Yeah, so lots of it is word of mouth, and they bring their friends along, and apprentices through their networking, obviously, in the industry. Yeah.
Do they book online?
Yes, they do. Yep.
Ooh,
yeah, it's
fancy.
easy to do so. So
Just click on a button and turn up.
That's it. Yeah.
We should all go and do one.
Convenient.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Do it.
What do you
Go and make some
recommend?
cheese.
What's the best
Oh
one?
well, cheese is out there. There you
Let's go
go.
make some cheese. I'm
Yeah, the
excited
cheese I
about
highly
cheese.
Let's do it.
recommend. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, what do you find are the more like popular courses these days?
A lot of people were into the patisserie, obviously. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
let's
baking,
be
yeah.
honest,
Yeah,
the
cool.
baking, the patisserie. That's something that they
As,
can do
as
for
like
their.
a hobby or professionally?
I'd say both,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
definitely a lot of hobbyists, that would
Yeah.
come in and do the short courses for
Yeah, sure.
patisserie and modern gâteaux, modern cakes, bits
Yeah.
and pieces, and
Mhm.
then of course they'd produce it for their families, and
Just
yeah,
takes it up. It
yeah.
upskills just that little bit that it's not
That's
like,
right,
you know,
yeah.
your
And
Women's Weekly little cake that we were
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about the other day.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a little bit more fancy.
Mm.
That's right, and that's what it's about. If you
Yeah.
learn something that you can replicate in the future and to produce it for your friends and family, and and if they enjoy it, then that makes you happy ultimately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
my-
you've got them.
no.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Go.
You've got them for kids.
What's that?
The courses, just for kids.
Yeah,
So, like,
absolutely.
Oh, cool. What kind
is
of
that
courses?
just like
Kids in the
school
Kitchen,
holiday
yeah,
type thing?
absolutely, which is an amazing event. Look, it's fantastic. All the kids come along and they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Come in
cool.
for the
what
day
kind
and
of
they
food do
cook.
they make?
All sorts. So we change it around every year,
Mm.
and there's always different classes, whether it be baking bits and pieces
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
we certainly try to push the healthy element on the kids. You know,
Yeah.
it's,
Mhm.
young and impressionable, as they say. We try to make healthy food fun
Yeah.
and tasty for them.
Yeah.
But
Oh, cool.
Chicken nuggets. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
well,
Exactly.
yeah,
Staple.
no matter how much you put in, the chocolate brownie or the chocolate cake will still be
Yes.
the favourite.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's amazing.
That's
That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
That's cool. So is that just sort of in school holidays sort of times?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But we certainly have a lot of schools booked through us through other workshops and bits and pieces as
Oh,
well.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Send
cool.
Bonnie to one when she's.
Yeah,
Is there an
cool.
age limit? What's like the starting?
Yeah.
What's the starting point?
Yeah, I know.
think, yeah.
There's
So
no age
so he's
limit. I
probably too
suppose.
young.
Yeah.
She could go and throw some stuff and
Yeah.
make a bit of a mess. She'd love it.
It's good fun. I used to love
Yeah.
making pizza with my parents when I was a kid. It's
Yeah.
good. I like
It's
it.
fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
The simple things you remember, and it's
Yeah.
enjoyable, isn't it?
Mm.
Food just brings people together.
That's
Mm.
right.
It's just, I like food.
I think I was saying,
Mm.
like you were saying too, like just eating with other people too. I feel like it's like a kind of bonding experience you
Yeah.
don't really
Mhm.
even think about. But
I would much rather like go out for dinner with a
Mm.
group of people than go down the pub or because I just like food.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like
that's
to
right.
eat a lot.
It's a social outing.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I like baking at home because my wife bakes a lot.
Yeah,
And,
fantastic.
every time she bakes, like the house smells like cake, so
Yeah.
it's really nice.
So do you like baking, or
Yeah,
do
I
you
was
like
just
it
going
when
to
your
say,
wife
so
bakes?
do you bake or you just
No,
like
my
your
wife does,
Yeah.
and I just stand there and smell it. Yeah.
Eating the product.
Yeah.
That's the
skip
best.
leftovers. Was it one cheesecake a week?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Pretty
one
much,
cheesecake
yeah.
a week over here.
Japanese
Ah,
cheesecake.
Wow.
She likes to make.
Yeah, the nice
It's really
light.
good. Yeah, the really
chiffon
fluffy
style.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We never get to sample any, but that's okay.
Oh, you got to bring some.
Yeah, maybe
I know.
sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
bring in
always
things
do.
sometimes.
I always
Pretty
eat it
good.
all because it's so light. I end up eating half the cake straight away.
No, it's
We'll
enjoyable.
save the other half.
Yeah, bring it in.
Put the other half in
For your
like a
friends.
container.
No, I can't.
Okay,
Mm.
okay. Sure.
One of the most enjoyable parts is the actual smell, the scent
Yeah, the
of
smell.
freshly
Mm.
baked
Yeah.
cake or bread.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Freshly
yeah.
baked bread is
Oh.
insane.
Yeah, my favourite.
That's
I'm
so
weird now. I just love bread so much. I can just eat it like by itself. It's good.
Mm.
Yeah, bread's amazing and like fresh, especially like artisan breads,
Yes,
Mm.
proper
sourdoughs
bread.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's not just fluff.
That's right.
It's
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Just go and do a
Lots of
course.
love and
We
care.
should.
Make some
Yeah, we
bread.
do a
I'm
lot of
very
bread
keen.
Do you need-
courses.
do
Yeah.
Do you need
Course.
egg to make bread?
No.
No. Okay.
So you can certainly make
You can.
breads with egg.
Yeah.
Especially when we look at the new dietary fads like the keto bread and that kind of thing, which is predominantly egg based
Oh, okay,
and,
cool.
and almond based or nut based.
Okay.
But look, good proper bread, you need 4 ingredients only. There's
Mhm.
water, salt, flour,
Yeah, cool.
and maybe some form of other flavouring. But that's it.
Does
Yeah.
that mean a lot of your courses and what you teach kind of keep up with like a lot of these kind of diets that are kind of coming through? Like you said, the keto one. Like
We do, yes, yeah. So our dietaries unit, for example, has grown dramatically since I was an apprentice. You know, when back when I was an apprentice, I think our dietaries was a day of vegetarianism, but that's all the training package sort of wanted.
That was it.
But yeah, pretty much vegetarianism and veganism. But
Yeah.
back then, that's all that there was. But now
Yeah.
it asks for a lot more,
Yeah.
which is good. You know, it's all knowledge,
Yeah.
and we certainly have to appeal to those
Yep.
customers and cater for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, definitely.
Do you think it's
Gluten-
real?
Do you think
These,
it's real?
These allergies.
Yeah, look, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. I know my son has a bit of an allergy himself, so I've seen it firsthand, and
Yeah,
I've
okay.
had some friends who've got celiacs, and
Mm.
look, a lot of them are, but I think a lot of them are just dietary fads as well.
Yeah.
Do you cover that sort of when you're trying to educate people specifically? Because there's a difference between being a celiac and being intolerant to gluten, and people think that just having gluten-free is like,
food preference. Yeah. We certainly do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people just don't understand.
No.
Difference.
No. But I think the cause of a lot of these problems is our commercial manufacturing. Let's be honest. Our white breads that we purchase at the supermarkets are far from what breads used to be.
Yeah.
And because they are bleached and very, I suppose, quickly produced and refined, they provide very little nutritional content. So much so that these days they pump them full of nutrients. They advertise omega-3s and added fibre. And
sure.
so on
they're actual, like, what's the word for it? Like, they're kind of added in after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That's all added. When
That's
white
tricky.
bread, when commercially produced white bread was first sort of introduced into the market, it provided little to no nutritional content. So a lot of people, because it was a staple.
Like sugar and flour, really.
That's right. Yeah, and bleached and so on and so forth.
How do they bleach it? Sorry, what kind of?
Well, several different processes, but it's just a simple refining and bleaching. Bleaching of the flour.
Doesn't that sound lovely?
It's lovely,
delicious.
Isn't it? So very, very little nutritional content when it was first introduced, and that's where they found a lot of people, because it was a staple back then. Diet wasn't so broad. A lot of people were getting sick from it, and this is where they started to pump in the nutrients and introduce and remarket it, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
And, but look, there's nothing like a loaf of bread that was made the way it was made 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
I was going to say, does that mean like 100, 200 years ago, bread used to be like really kind of nutritious? And like
Agreed,
like
absolutely.
Okay, sure,
you know, when we make a sourdough,
when
I make a sourdough, for example, and I love sourdoughs, I have a sourdough culture that I've had for many years, and I keep it alive. And,
cool,
that's what I use to make my breads instead of the commercially purchased yeast. Look, it takes anything between 24 and 30 hours to produce a loaf of bread. You know, whereas if we were producing something commercially, we could probably do it in 45 minutes. There's a big difference. Plus we use nice organic stone ground flours and unbleached wherever possible, a wholemeal or a rye. Probably put in some spelt or buckwheat or whatever it may be. Maybe even some quinoa. Beautiful. Nothing like it.
In bread.
Slow fermentation, proper autolysis, you know. The grains are...
It's all getting very technical now.
Well, it's a very... I'm very passionate about bread. I love bread. Bread and cheese I absolutely love. But, you know...
Nice.
Did you make your starter from scratch?
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Your bread? You grew it out of the air?
Yeah, absolutely. Airborne bacteria, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yep. So
I had one, but it died.
Lots of... Really?
How does that work?
Yeah, I haven't heard of this. Sorry, what is this?
Basically, 2 ingredients here, flour and water. That's all it is. And over a period of time, obviously, you start to develop some airborne bacteria. It takes everything from its surroundings. And every starter in different regions, I'd say of the country, of the world, would be somewhat different because different bacteria in the air. And it starts to ferment and bubble and obviously become a live culture, a live starter. So instead of using a yeast, we'll capture... this natural airborne bacteria and use that. That's the way bread was made 2,000, 3,000 years ago.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Before we had yeast.
And that takes longer than using yeast?
Absolutely, yeah. Slow fermentation. We control
How long
temperatures.
does that take?
Look, it depends what you're making, but like I said, anything between... I suppose 12 hours you could produce, anything up to 30, 40 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Depending on the temperatures you're fermenting and what you're doing with it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Does that mean like really back in the day they would have just literally had flour and water and just kind of left it kind of sit there?
They let it sit there and they noticed it started to bubble and grow and they harnessed it, I suppose, instead of getting a dense bread with flour and water only. They captured it and they let it ferment and it grew. It produced acetic acid, which gave us a beautiful sour flavour. It's basically vinegar, right?
Oh, wow.
And it made the bread more nutritionally staple for us, obviously, stable, and it was easier to digest.
Yep.
Yeah, and it made it beautiful, tasty.
It's the difference in between like a proper loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I remember because I went to Tafe. I did my Cert 3 at Tafe.
Fantastic.
But when we were doing bread, and I just got told to leave a bowl under the bench overnight. And they were like, and tomorrow we'll make some bread with it.
Yeah.
What?
Fermented sponge,
it was,
what we call a levain,
it was very interesting.
Or a polish,
I thought you just left it there to rise, but that's...
That's more or less what it's doing. Yeah, it's fermenting.
Yeah.
It's breaking down the sugars, breaking down the carbohydrate and the protein, and it's converting it. You're producing CO2 gas, which is going to give you that lift. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it makes sense though. Like it must have been pretty hard to get like refined yeast again, like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't available. Yeah.
It was naturally occurring.
There was no local supermarket. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is what me and Christo talk about literally every day at lunch. Is how like
yeast?
bread was first made.
Oh yeah.
What have you been talking about?
Which ingredient came first? Like. They have to have the egg first.
Their wheat grain and
was it really? Yeah, was
water.
Saying was it like super grainy as well?
It was like an accident.
It would have been.
They spilled some water on some.
I don't know the specifics, but look, I could say it would have been a dense piece of food, but it was a nutritional staple for them. They produced their own grain. There wasn't much else available at the time. And
do you have an idea on the history too? Like, would it have started like on a campfire, or like did they put it in ovens?
History of bread.
Yeah. Just learning so much.
We know the grains more than likely came from Egypt, Middle Eastern sort of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the wheat, the humble wheat grain.
Yeah.
And that's who would have been the first producers, I suppose. But back then they would have made the flatbreads rather than the pita breads rather than the cops or the loaves or that type of bread, because it would have been too dense and it would have been too hard to cook without a proper oven. So probably would have been cooked on a stone, more or less.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. It's very cool.
Bread.
Mm.
Who would have thought bread's so exciting, right?
It is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That answers our questions too. We could find something else to talk about at lunch.
Oh no, so sad.
Cured meat.
Next, do you have because obviously you're very excited about bread, but I would assume you're excited about all sort of food.
All sorts.
Do you have like a favourite one of your workshops? Like, is there one that kind of stands out to you and you kind of go, oh, that's really exciting?
Yeah, look, I love the produce workshops. I predominantly run those and host those, and I love them because I get to catch up with all my old suppliers, and really, it's just it's promoting some amazing suppliers that we have, some amazing producers that we have to offer in South Australia, some boutique suppliers that a lot of people probably haven't heard of, that are doing some amazing things, with some great ingredients that we get to have a little play with and really promote.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's exciting for me.
So people just come to you and sort of say, hey, I've got this product I want to feature, and you're like,
sure. Here's a new product that we've got, or here's something that we're working on. What can you do with it? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And how does that happen? Do they just hear about it down the grapevine, or do you kind of...
Yeah, so a lot of networking, So I'd contact my old suppliers and vice versa, and make something happen. But the last one we did was with Angelique through Priority Health, and that was great. So we did some amazing grain stuff there, which was cool. Yeah.
Quinoa.
Some ancient grains. Yeah, as soon as you talk about grains,
everyone's like quinoa. I don't like quinoa.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite course to teach then?
Honestly, I like them all. I do it from start to finish. I love everything that we do, and I like the diversity and the mix, I suppose. I can't say that there's a specific unit that I love. I do enjoy it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
But I suppose what I'm doing currently, the restaurant operations would probably be the most exciting point, where the new students get to go into one of our training restaurants and produce food for customers, paying customers, which is really good. So that's at Regency Tafe as well. We have 2 training restaurants there, Tyros, which predominantly operates in lunch service, and Graduates Restaurant, which runs at dinners. So all the food is cooked by the students, and it's served by hospitality students as well.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's a great...
People learning like waitressing and things like that.
That's right,
sure.
yeah. Whether it be bar courses or responsible service of alcohol and front of house hospitality. Yep, absolutely.
You're like head chef? Oh, sorry, Christo.
You're up.
You're like head chef?
Well,
you're like...
We sort of make it happen, but I wouldn't like to put myself in that sort of banner. I'm there.
You're just there.
I'm there to
them?
facilitate. Yeah,
okay.
It's all about them at the end of the day.
Sure.
Just let them sort of or guide them through the process and mentor them and.
That's amazing to have the opportunity to sort of do that as a student and learn.
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. How do you find students kind of? How do they pick that up when they get in there? Like, pretty nervous, or do they kind of pick it up pretty quickly?
Oh, look, it's at the start it is quite nerve-wracking, and a lot of them do stress about it at the start. But once they get into the swing of things, they absolutely love, and they love it, and they absolutely flourish. Yeah, you can just see their skills develop. Massively in the restaurant operation. So it's good for a lecturer to see that. Yeah, for a facilitator to see that.
Yeah. Wow, really cool.
Yeah.
Do you find they come with like a lot of experience already?
Some do, some don't. All walks of life. Okay. All different age groups. People who want a career change, school leavers, all sorts. Yeah. So some do come with a little bit of experience through apprenticeships. But there are a lot of new cookery students as well. So. quite a mix.
Yeah, cool.
It provides a good dynamic within the group.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think you would ever sort of want to go back into a kitchen?
Oh, look, I love my industry, and I suppose it's something that I think about on a daily basis, that you do miss it after doing something for so long and loving it and being so passionate about it. You do always have that thought. But look, I have an amazing job, and I have a great opportunity to pass on my knowledge, then why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's important.
Yeah.
There are people out there that have that skill base to sort of pass that on.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good.
I love food. I can't stop talking about food.
That's all right.
Do you have... I would like to get some tips from you about like top eateries in Adelaide. Like what's your...
We've got some amazing places. It entirely depends on what you like. If you want fine dining or...
I'll eat... I'm not fussy.
Fine dining places.
Yeah.
I love Hentley Farm. I love their philosophy, going back to farm to table sort of cookery. Yep. I worked there myself for a little bit, the crew.
Did you?
I've worked with the crew for quite a while, actually.
Their website.
Yeah. So, look, I personally love them. And Urana doing some amazing things as well.
I haven't been there.
Yeah.
It's pricey.
Where's that?
It is on Rundle Street. They're upstairs where the old Universal Bar used to be.
What's it called? Urana?
Urana.
Urana.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Urana.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're doing some amazing things. So look, there are some amazing eateries, but if I personally went to Jin Long a couple of weeks ago, that was delish. That was the first time. It was cool.
I've been there before. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Quick bites.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a good like mixture of kind of funky, weird.
Modern,
sure.
it is, isn't it? Yeah. There are so many amazing places. Look, I personally, even being in touch with the industry, you just can't keep up, can you?
Yeah.
There are so many new places constantly popping up and lots to offer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Any kind of hidden gems you want to give a shout out to?
Well, there's too many. Too many to list. I'll keep them to myself.
Yeah, right.
No, keep them as a secret, just for you.
Yeah. No, it's good. Ever evolving.
Definitely. I mean, when you're kind of teaching these things, how do you... I think this is like an issue in like any kind of industry, but like how do you keep your own kind of skill set up personally?
Yeah, so networking through the industry, look, I still have a ton of friends who are chefs and who I catch up with very regularly. I still like to get in there and do a bit of casual work here and there if I can, on my holidays and bits and pieces. But more than anything, obviously, it's just networking and meeting with industry chefs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you travelled quite a bit, didn't you, before you
I did, travelled a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Moved
Whereabouts?
all over the place.
Well, predominantly through Europe, So I did a bit of England and all over the place in Europe, which is a great thing that most chefs would probably like to do and do in their lifetime, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, that gives so many more influences too.
Oh, yeah, it expands your horizon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All these new ingredients, new styles, very traditional, very cultural.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of work and learning while you're over there?
Yeah, absolutely. More than anything fun, but...
It's all work.
Yeah, but it is, It's a great exercise for a young chef.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Or for anyone, really.
Well,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All of us like travelling. Aussies love travelling.
Yeah.
It's funny, you meet more Aussies in
Other
London.
countries.
Yeah.
Somehow you always
They're
end up
everywhere.
in some form of an Aussie bar.
It's just like hear it off in the distance.
Yeah. No, it's good.
What's the weirdest ingredient you've come across?
Weirdest ingredient? Oh, jeez. Lots of weird ingredients. I've cooked some weird ingredients myself.
Like what?
Oh, look, I love my offal. I used to do a lot of offal cookery, so I'm talking smoked hearts and all sorts. But one I recently did at a produce workshop, which was really weird, was alpaca pate.
Really?
Yeah. So we had an alpaca workshop through Fluoro Prime Alpaca, who's an amazing supplier, amazing producer. They do alpacas and they came along for the workshop and we did alpaca pate, smoked alpaca hearts and all sorts.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Can't say I've ever had alpaca pate
it's
before.
beautiful.
Alpaca anything?
Well, alpaca protein itself, the meat is amazing.
I may have eaten alpaca, but not like heart
By accident?
or pate. No,
But I love
I
it.
reckon I've probably eaten it
Okay.
wandering along. Like, oh, look, there's an alpaca. No, on a menu somewhere.
Yeah.
But I can't say I've done that. Well, Nick recently came back from Japan, and I've been to Japan also. I had a lot of heart and liver and stuff over there.
Offal,
Yeah, but not my cup of tea.
In Thailand growing up, basically all I ever ate was sticky rice and chicken liver.
Yes. Yeah,
That's all I
beautiful.
ate. I loved it.
Like all the time?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, my wife she likes chicken feet stew, which I think is
The
disgusting.
look on your face was not very positive.
Bit of a cringe.
Because like, I mean, it's I don't know. I just think it's very hard work just to get that amount of skin and meat into you.
And they are weird looking feet.
Yeah, and like she eats it, and then after she finishes,
They are.
it's just like a pile of like small joint bones.
Yeah, but
just
they're
like,
gelatinous
sure.
and delicious, like a pork hock. Yeah, super
Yeah,
jelly.
but they're not. A pork hock's like substantial. A chicken
or even
foot's like
trotters. Yeah, pork trotters. Yeah, they're super gelatinous. They're really tasty.
three
quite
little
fatty.
things.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like a full.
Yeah, they're weird.
I just stay away from food that requires like that amount of work, like crab and
Yeah,
chicken
for
feet
sure.
and that
Crab's
kind of-
amazing.
It's good, but like the amount of work
You have
it
to work
takes.
for it. Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
I'm just I'm just tired now. It's exhausted.
I'm just over it. I'm over
I'm
it.
done.
Buy-
Who eats it?
Buy the pig crab meat.
Yeah.
Uber Eats crab meat.
Yeah.
Start a business.
Yeah. No, good.
I was doing some reading on you. I was stalking you a
Yeah.
little bit. You
Felt
had
my
mentioned
ears burning.
octopus as something that was seen a bit out there here in Australia. Do people not like octopus here? Do they not eat it?
No, it's vastly consumed. Octopus is amazing.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How did you come across that one?
I,
Is
was,
it a-
I literally went to the Good Food Guide,
Oh, okay.
your little profile on there.
Oh, okay. That was through Gourmet Travel. I think that was many years ago,
Yeah,
where they
so
did a
it's-
little. They published a little octopus dish that I produced. That's probably where it came.
I
up.
see.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I like octopus.
Yeah.
I love it too.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
eat.
delicious.
Christo's vegan.
No, not for me.
Wow.
Veggie boy. Yes.
Oh.
No.
I see.
No, that's fantastic. No.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, it is good. Good on you.
Good on you.
Thank you, everyone.
That's fine. Good
We
for you.
support that.
Gold star.
Speaking of weird food, there was one really weird one, which was in Thailand. I can't remember which city it was in when I was little. It's actually been shut down now because it's not ethical. But they get fish, which is still alive, but they only fry its body, but its
Yeah.
head is still alive.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So like when they serve it on your plate, it's like opening and closing its mouth,
Yes,
but its
yeah.
body is deep fried.
Yeah.
Nice.
They,
It's pretty brutal.
yeah.
Obviously, it wouldn't be alive for a long time, though.
It's
Like
I
it
mean,
would just be like a
still
little
ticking
bit
away.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there are a lot of chefs and a lot of places that do that type of minute cookery type of thing,
No.
where they do fillet the fish, they batter it, they fry it, they put it on the plate, and it's still moving
Yeah.
and ticking away.
Yeah.
So yeah, or the squid that's still moving, or the
Yeah.
octopus
Yeah.
that's still moving.
Yeah.
on the
Is that
table.
is that alive or it's just like muscle?
Some of it, or in some cases, they're alive, but a lot of it is spasms. Yeah,
Yeah.
A little bit of both, I'd say.
yeah, absolutely. Whether it's ethical or not.
It's a
I
wild.
suppose
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
a wild
green, are
world.
they? They're just kind of having a bit of a moment on the plate. It's not like they're...
They might have feelings too.
Sorry. I'm more concerned about eating it than...
Yeah.
Sorry, Christo. I know you're very concerned about the feelings.
Animal
Like,
welfare.
look after the animals.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask you because you're a chef. What's your thoughts on like all the different diets out there, like carnivore diet and like intermittent fasting, all this stuff? Do you think it's like a fad, or is there like some?
Oh, look, there
Yeah.
are always
Formula.
going to be diet fads, let's be honest. And as a chef, I suppose we have to be supportive of them. A lot of them are quite weird, and they do sort of phase out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look,
Anything that you've subscribed to personally? Anything that's come along and be like, oh.
yeah, look, I tried the ketosis diet myself.
Oh,
yeah,
cool. How'd you find it?
Hard.
Did you get very sick? I heard, yeah.
I love bread.
It sounds,
Look,
it
I love
sounds brutal, yeah.
carbohydrates.
What is that? I
Yeah.
mean, for people who don't know what that is.
High fat, basically.
High
High
fat?
fat,
It's
little
like
bit
zero-
of protein,
zero
zero
carbs?
carbs.
Yeah.
Zero
I think
carbs.
it's about 20 to 40 grams of carbohydrates.
Okay.
And It's
How-
pretty
what's,
hard.
What's that
Okay.
equivalent to? Like how much bread? Like
Half a slice.
Yeah,
a
not a
day?
lot.
Yeah, sure.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
not much bread at all.
I would be such an angry person if I tried
yes.
to do that.
Yeah.
But then don't only people do that when they're like training for something, right? Or
Yeah, it has
Cutting
been-
weight?
Yeah,
Or-
cutting weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, quickly. It certainly does work.
Yeah.
Whether it's healthy for you or not, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think there's been enough study on it, but
Yeah.
there should be.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
essentially it's like tricking your body to consume more fat, right?
Yeah, well, you're converting your energy source. Instead of breaking down your carbohydrate, you're relying on your fats and your
Yeah.
your small amount of protein, or amino acids. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen like a few things saying it's pretty healthy, but I guess it's one of those things, like it's pretty new. We'll only
Everyone's
find out,
different, I
like, in
guess, right?
time. Yeah. And yeah, I think everyone's kind of, reacts to these things differently.
Yeah.
But it didn't last for you very long?
No, not at
How
all.
long?
I think it was about 2 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's still pretty
still a fair
that's still
effort.
pretty good.
That's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What was the cave-in point? Was it like a massive pizza or pasta dish?
No,
And
it was,
you were
it was a loaf of sourdough. Look, it was a loaf of bread.
yeah.
There's always a loaf of bread.
How would you find that too? Like you're working every day in the kitchen, baking
Oh, it's
bread, doing
hard.
things. You're like,
all the smells.
can't have any of this.
Oh, yes, it is hard.
Did you have to taste test a lot of the food as well?
You do. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what it's about.
Oh, you'd
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to
No,
eat
but that's
any
what I mean.
food
Like
from a
it'd
chef
be
that
difficult to
hadn't
cook
tasted.
like pasta dishes, but then not be able to taste test the food and things like that if you're on
Do you just chew and then
keto
just
diet.
Spit
spit it
it
out?
out.
Spittoon.
Like,
Yeah.
Perfect intake. It's out.
That's okay.
Jeez, that'll be an interesting look. Yeah, look, there's always going to be some form of dietary fat, and whatever works for you. If at the end of the day, if it's results that you're looking for and they provide it, yeah, I'm all for it.
How quickly do you find the industry sort of picks up on those sorts of things? Like,
Oh, very quick, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, to
Oh,
capitalise on it as quick as we possibly can.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
here to,
cool.
most chefs are there to help and cater for their clients, and you know, at the end of the day, it's all money, as they say.
yeah, you want to be able
business
to,
to run and people
Absolutely.
to make happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
for sure.
How much change do you find there is? So, like, do you find yourself constantly looking through like news forums and talking to people like every day about new things?
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, so just a lot of research and
Yeah.
picking up on these fads, but a lot of
Yeah.
these are sort of re-evolving. They're just old fads that have come
definitely.
back around with a
Yeah,
new
sure.
twist.
I was going to say, do you
or-
find them? Yeah, they come like
They
a
do,
loop
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they phase out and they come as quick as they've basically phased out.
Yeah,
Mm.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
How do you feel like, I'm always interested to get people's thoughts who are in the industry about sort of shows like MasterChef and things. Do you think they do good things for the industry? Do you think they're sort of...
Yeah, I do, yeah. So, look, your general public would watch those shows who probably don't, or some people who probably don't know a whole lot about foods, and they see these things and it excites them to go out for dinner and it makes them, I suppose, understand the modern techniques and the evolving industry, and they're more accepting when they go out.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
Instead of going for their steak and chips or
Sure.
whatever it may be, they're a lot more, I suppose, in tune.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
with what's going on.
Yeah, and they're adventurous, and they come out, and it's a good thing for us chefs because we can be adventurous ourselves and be artistic and create new things, and it's great.
Do you find that from sort of someone who's training sort of the up-and-coming new generation of chefs that it gives a bit of a false impression about what it
About
is
the
required
industry?
to be a chef? Like,
I was going to say,
Somewhat,
are there any
yes.
kind of
Yeah.
stigmas or things like that that kind of get upplayed? That
Yeah, look, somewhat. Yes.
stereotypes you kind of find frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, somewhat it does breed a bit of a false picture of the environment,
Yeah.
Sure,
cooking
yeah.
environment, I suppose. But
yeah.
look, like I said, the industry is evolving,
Yeah.
and there are so many different types of establishments. There's no longer a kitchen as a kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that Marco Pierre White is one of your sort of...
Yeah, I love old Marco. Yeah,
Have you
he's
met Marco?
No, I haven't actually personally.
okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't. But I've been a fan of his for many years. As a young chef, that's what I sort of aspired to.
Aspire to. Oh, I think a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, he's one of the founders, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a very intimidating person. I'm not
Yeah,
quite
look,
sure if
yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to be working under him in a kitchen. I'm not.
Oh, yeah, probably not working under him, but it'd be a pretty interesting character to
Yeah,
sit and have a
definitely.
meal with. That's for
Absolutely,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. He'd be someone I'd sit with for 4 or 5 hours.
sure. Yeah.
Very
Chat.
interesting meal
Yeah,
with.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, the best chefs. Do you think they kind of start similar? Like they start from a particular field and then kind of move on, or are they all different?
They're all different, I suppose, but look, we all start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The foundations, the basics, and I think that's going back to these shows. That's what it does breed a false sense of, I suppose, jumping into a restaurant and being able to
Yeah.
level up as quick as they
Yeah.
possibly can and become head chefs and executive chefs. And I think those shows do breed a little bit of dots on plates rather than
Yep.
just good, wholesome, tasty food.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And
starting
more
from
style over substance.
That's
maybe.
right.
Yeah.
It's the old before Heston knew how to create. He knew how to grill, poach, fry, and do all the
Yes,
basics.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There weren't any
You can't
phones.
build a house without the
I was
foundation.
gonna say, I think it's like any
Correct.
industry that you got to focus on the fundamentals kind of before.
That's
you can
right.
move on
Yeah,
to-
yeah. Understanding the key principles, the basics,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then developing your own style out of it. Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
what it's about.
I feel like there's a lack of, and this could just be my layperson's understanding, but education throughout those shows. That sort of people just turn up and they kind of go, sure, we'll learn how to make duck pate, but go out in the world and they can't actually have any tangible skills
Yeah.
that would make it usable for them. So
Well,
I think
well, hopefully these people that are inspired by these shows come and take up formal training and
correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's where it sort of fills in the gap. So
And I think that's good, because as we said before, it's a skill shortage industry, and we need chefs. We need people who are passionate about food, and we're there to train them.
yeah,
Definitely.
that's right.
Is that? Do you watch a lot of these shows?
Look, I don't have much time, unfortunately.
For sure.
Yeah.
You said you work from about 6 till 5.
Most of the time. But look, if it's enjoyable, then you don't really work, do you?
Yeah,
No.
100%.
Are you in the kitchen at 6? Surely you're not in the kitchen.
You're setting up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are the
So
students
setting
there
up.
at 6?
Ranging. From
Depends on the student.
Look, I'd say from 7 a.m. onwards, they're sort of
Enthusiastic
getting
ones.
in and doing their mise
sure.
en place, doing their bits and pieces, and a lot of them are really excited about being there every day, and they absolutely love it. So they're keen to get in.
Yeah. And I found, just for me personally, being in the environment with other people that are so excited about it and want to learn, it just makes you excited about being there.
Well,
So
it breeds a good environment, doesn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. The people, you just get together and you start talking about weird things that you never thought you'd talk about to anyone else in your life. It's very odd.
It's always good to be surrounded by passionate people,
Well,
no matter
like
what it is.
Yeast in a bowl. I never thought I'd be having an exciting conversation with someone about that, but that was one
Here
of
we
the
are.
most sort of passionate conversations I had. So
absolutely.
it's good.
Yeah,
It's a great
that's what it's
environment.
about. Yeah.
I think food does like make people weird. It's like, when you're
Makes people weird.
when you're like really hungry and you like just order way too much food and you never eat it.
It's the
It's
cravings.
me every meal, I think.
Or like when I was in Japan, there's this like really popular ramen place, and we lined up for almost 3 hours, I'd say, to get it, and it goes underground, and then you eat in these like booths that look like test booths,
Okay.
and there's like a hole there, and then they're like, this person slides out the bowl from under this little hole.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it was really
Very
good.
unique, yeah.
It was so
I
good.
think it's one of those things that like, I think everyone, like, people talk about how much they love food, but I think it's like a very universal thing. Like, I think every single person loves food. And it's just, something
absolutely.
Yeah.
everyone can share in, really.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what language you speak or where you're from.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
That's
you
right.
can
It's
bond
the
over a
universal
plate of food.
language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was in Japan, I went to a ramen place and we lined up for almost an hour, but he set it on fire.
Mm.
So it was just this show of like this, we were all lined up down a bar.
Everybody likes a bit of flavour.
And it just
Yeah,
like
that's very
literally to the ceiling, just on fire. It was amazing.
And
And that
again,
was
it's
Do you
the
ever-
theatrics.
I was
isn't
going to say,
it?
did you ever pull the one out? Do you have any cool little
Oh,
tricks you use in the
everybody's
kitchen
done
too?
that. Everybody's done the flambe or the dry ice.
I've definitely
or
done it by accident, but
burn the house down.
a little bit.
Someone was telling me downstairs earlier today about in uni, someone burnt 2-minute noodles in the microwave.
Geez, that's hard.
Who microwaves
Like
2
so,
minutes?
like burnt black in a bowl. How do you do that?
6 minutes.
You can't. Speaking
Do you
from
want me to show you?
experience, but there's like no water or something. I don't know. How do you
Without
do
water.
that?
I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but
That's a very. They need to come and do a
Do you ever see
course of
these
something.
uni student hacks too, and they kind of disgust you when you hear people like microwaving eggs or things like that, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
Ah,
Or is it?
It's like, there's a little bit of judgment.
yeah, a little bit, I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everyone, I suppose. If,
Yeah,
if it
sure.
works for you, and it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
As long as you're having an egg.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
yeah. Look, as long as it's an enjoyable egg.
As long as you
Sure.
like it at the
I
end
like
of the
it.
day.
Do you ever come
That's
across a student where you just say, look, I mean, you just haven't got it?
You'd never say that,
harsh.
right? But maybe they need to hear it. I don't know.
No, look, I think we're there to support them. You know,
Yeah.
they start from the fundamentals, and we're there to mentor them through it. And everybody learns differently, and some take longer, but we're certainly there for them. And if, as long as the passion's there and they want to learn and they truly want to do it,
Yeah,
then there's no reason why they can't.
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'd love to teach too, so it'd be a pretty bad approach.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just a cut them off. No, you're done.
Listen,
Yeah.
mate, there's no hope.
Gordon Ramsay just...
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah, no, look, it's a
Yeah.
healthy and
What do you think of the
learning
Gordon Ramsay
environment.
approach to managing kitchens?
Like, I think Gordon Ramsay's he's a bit of a show. I think in deep down
Plays it up.
inside,
Yeah,
look,
definitely.
it sells for him, it markets
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But I think deep down inside, he's probably pretty soft, isn't he?
He seems like a pretty nice guy when you see him outside.
Yeah, I think he would be. He would be.
Sometimes, yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'd imagine he would be.
I guarantee it's a marketing tool. Or
Yeah,
something.
for sure.
Definitely.
It's
Can't be
just-
that much
But
of
look,
an
everybody
asshole.
knows Gordon Ramsay for that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
He's kind of got that.
And he is an
market.
amazing chef. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say I've never eaten any of his food. But
Yeah.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be where he
Yeah.
was if he wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, speaking of that stuff, have you noticed like a shift maybe in the culture of kitchens as well in the last maybe 10 or so years?
Oh, massive shift. Obviously, the cohort, the general kitchen crew or the hospitality crew have changed dramatically. A lot of the older chefs have sort of stepped away, and the new generation's completely different. It's just a different environment.
In what kind of
altogether.
sense? Sorry, like
look, I don't think it's as
maybe not as hierarchical, maybe.
no, and it's not as intense as it used to be once upon a time. I think there is a lot more understanding, and there is a lot more a passive sort of
Yep. Not so much yelling.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can get away with that kind of stuff like the way chefs used to. There are some horror stories that that you hear and you think, geez, how are they not locked up for that?
It's an interesting. I don't understand sort of, because chefs get stereotyped as that generally across the board.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't understand sort of, everyone's different and they all come
everyone's
with different attitudes. How does that sort of happen to people when they sort of...
look, it's a very high pressure environment, and I think you have to have that predisposition for being kind of short fused. And I was always a pretty relaxed head chef. I mean, sure, there are always moments where you sort of heat up and fire up, especially when you're under the pump and you've got 100 guests outside that are waiting for food, and you know it's your reputation on the line. But I think you've got to maintain composure and just do the job. And at the end of the day, your staff have to be happy. The working environment has to be happy for it to be healthy. And nobody wants to turn up to work bitter. And you produce a poor product that way.
Absolutely.
Or you produce out of fear rather than out of respect for what you do and love for what you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a lovely attitude to have towards...
Yeah, I think that's the way it's headed now as well, where it is a lot more understanding and the industry has evolved.
I'm going to ask a question now because I'm the only female in the room. Women in kitchens. Yeah. Is they sort of numbers increasing? What's going on there?
I think so. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more intake, I suppose, of female chefs, patisserie students. Yeah, absolutely.
Just patisserie or commercial?
No, chefs, commercial cooks. Yeah, absolutely. Some amazing chefs.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it something you see being pushed for in the hospitality industry? Like I know, like in the tech industry, for example, there's like a massive push to kind of make that happen.
I don't think there's not necessarily a push for it, but I think it's just more prevalent these days.
Yeah,
for sure. Absolutely.
I think you have to be a certain type of person, though, to sort of that environment.
Absolutely. Well, for any environment, I suppose everybody's different. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to come to work and work with all of you every day. So.
We put on the pressure.
Yeah, you do. It's horrible.
I always find that interesting because, like, you know, as a kid growing up, it's usually like your mum cooks.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I first found out that most chefs are men that cook, I mean, when I found out that, it was quite like weird when I found. It's like,
once upon a time, it was a bit of a boys' club, wasn't it? All chefs were males. You rarely saw a female chef. I think that's partly due to the environment that it was high pressure and they probably weren't as accepting. Whereas these days, absolutely.
Well, especially if it's already all guys, it must be tough to kind of break that.
That's right, and in that environment, it can get a little bit sort of macho and testosterone filled.
Testosterone that gets thrown around.
That's right.
Yeah. That's good.
Medium, not medium rare.
Be a good head chef. Like it.
Yeah.
Good work.
Very assertive.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for coming, Frank.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in.
That was a great chat.
It's been good.
I learned a lot about bread.
Thank you very much.
Actually learned a lot about bread.
Anytime. I love talking about this. So anytime.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Thanks
for having me.
Thanks.
See you later.
See ya.
Ta-ta.